Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to scale up assets in Unreal Engine, so let's get to it. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys exactly what happens if we don't scale things correctly and how fake it looks. So here's a beautiful cave here that I actually downloaded off of Marketplace, and in my opinion it's one of the best. I mean, look how photorealistic this thing looks. I mean, it's stunning, and you can customize it too as you wish. Anyways, so I have this cave here, and this water came with it. What I did was I just added in a fake water plane here, and I just put some water texture on it, just ocean water. Doesn't look very good, but let's try the lake. Yeah, the lake might look a little bit better. But anyways, the point is that if I were to go ahead and bring in a boat, here's the boat that I want to bring in. This is one of the US Navy ships, and it's a patrol boat, and this is at full scale. So this is exactly how it imported, and in real life this is 26 meters long, which is 85 feet, and I believe it's 25 feet across. So it's quite big. You can fit a whole bunch of people in the cockpit cabin here, and then there's another back cabin, and then there's some berths. So there's a bunch of berths inside the boat there. Anyways, the point is that if I were to go ahead and take this boat and scale it down so that the cave looks really big, and then I go ahead and bring the boat down so that it looks like it's in the water, and then I can animate it, which is what I did in the beginning. I spent a lot of time preparing a shot. This is like some time ago, and what happened was that it just didn't look right. I couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. It just didn't look good. And then later on, what I did was I added a third person blueprint. The scale is completely off, and there's nothing we can do to fix it aside from just bringing it back to its original size. So what we have to do, get that out of the way, if we go back to the Mark 6 and we bring that at 1, so that's the full scale, get rid of this guy, actually bring him closer so we can see. So that's how it should be. That's like in real world how you'd see in photographs and in videos. So the only thing left to do is we have to scale up the entire cave network, and each one of these pieces is all like individual static meshes or blueprints, and there is no way to do it. Like, for example, I'll show you guys real quick. If I were to take all of these and I want to scale them by 10, like, it doesn't work. I mean, it looks like crap. It's yeah, I mean, I have to zoom out here, but everything gets totally thrown off, and the scale goes up by 10, but the problem is that now everything is out of place, and it's not aligned with how it was originally created, and that's problematic because it just won't look right. So the way to fix it, I hate to tell you guys, but it's actually to scale up the cave individually, one by one, all the assets. And so I figured a workflow on how to do it rather faster. So here it is. All right, so this is the level that what it looks like on the outside. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and expand the plane here from 100 to 1000, and it's going to do all three. And I've expanded it over there, but it didn't bring it to the center, which is what I wanted. Things always work better when they're in the center. So I'm just going to bring this a little bit closer so that we don't have so much. So we're going to keep this one as is. We're not going to touch this one. We're just going to use this one as a reference. So the first thing I recommend is you take one side or one piece of one side, and then you gradually do each piece going all the way to the other side of it. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the first piece here. So it looks like it's about halfway in on the plane. So I'm going to click on this and make sure that it is locked the 3 positions, X, Y, and Z on the scale parameter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just move that decimal so that it goes up by 10. And then I'm going to pull out, and it's obviously going to be huge. And we can see we have like a little bit of a groove here inside the landscape, so that gives us a little bit of an idea or a reference point. I'm going to bring this right back here to the edge of it, and then I'm going to go for the second one here, and I'm going to again move this decimal, and you have the right side of the screen as a reference here so that you never really lose your space or your pacing. Blueprint, rock, pillars, wall 22, and that's what that one is there. And then here we have the second one, 21, and that's what we have there, and we just match it. So looks like this one comes down a little bit. But the cool thing is about something like this, a world like this, the landscape is so natural and organic that you don't have to have it absolutely perfect. You can eye it out and it'll still work either in your game or your movie, because nobody's going to question and say, hey, that rock shouldn't be there. So the next one here is 18, so I can just find it in the blueprints here, move my way up. 21, 20, 19, and that should be it here. 18, there it is there. So 18 is what I want here. So another fast way to do it is, rather than picking each small piece off on the left here, you can just easily make your way across this way from the original reference instance. For example, I just finished placing that one right here. Now I want to get this guy, and I'll look him up. It's rock, pillar, wall 18. So I'm just going to move up here in the graph and find rock, pillar, wall 18. I didn't even have to select it. It just selects it for me. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to move the decimal over. It's going to bring it up. And I don't have to move the rotation of it at all. I'm just going to eye it out with my eye here and have an idea of where it would go, which would probably be right around here. Then the next one I'm going to grab is going to be wall 20, which will be right here. And now you see how this blueprint is at a scale of 1. I'm going to bring that up to 10. And if you multiply everything times 10, that means everything is going to be the correct scale. And that looks like as if it would go right about there. Perfect. Now I'm going to grab this one here, and that's just a giant rock for the roof. Instead of doing the roof right now, I'm just going to continue on along the walls, starting with the outside, because it just makes more sense to one beside the other. That way they all use one another as a reference. So I'm going to bring this up to 10, and then I'm just going to line this one up with this other guy here. So now I'm going to go ahead and look on the inside here, and then I'm going to compare it to this one, which is the smaller version. Okay. And then the next one over, I'm going to pull, which is $11. I'm going to turn around, it should be big. There it is. There we go. Now 11 is on. And this is pretty much it, guys. Like, it's just a matter of measuring everything up and using it as a reference and just going one to the next. So I'll show you my end result. So there it is, and that's the third person. That is the correct scale. So you can see what I did here. I basically just put in every rock and every... So here it is here. Let me just remove the plane, the water plane. So you can see it took me a while, but eventually I did it. I want to show you guys something. So what you see here, like the whole environment level by itself. So what you see there is this right here. So this is the smaller version of it before I blew these up, but you can see like there's some back walls, there's some small pebbles and stuff like that, and then there's like some smaller rocks and pillars that I haven't really moved yet. Some of these are really irrelevant to the big picture of things. Like, it doesn't serve me to go ahead and move these ones individually. We're not going to see that in the movie in the final pixel, the final shots. Probably this corner we'll see, so I'm gonna have to move these, but I've just been knocking away at this for a little bit here and there in the evenings, and I did the bulk of the majority of the work for this whole cave in about 2 or 3 days. And then what I did was, for all the rocks, I just put them like generally in a pile, and then eventually one by one with references I just lined them up with where they belong. So you can still see I have some rocks to do, this pile of rocks here, but other than that, a lot of it is already complete. And that whole backside is mostly complete. It's just this, the other side of the cave down here that I haven't completed yet. And there's some boulders in the center here that I have to put in place, but it's coming along. It's taking shape here, but you can see how I would do it. I would just start with the walls themselves, with where everything goes in the cave, and then I would do the big pillars in the bottom, like these big stones that would line up the corners in between the walls and the landscape. And then eventually I would work my way up. So I would do these guys after I would do the walls, and then I would gradually work my way up with these other smaller pieces one by one using the reference images. And then I would move on to the roof, and then once that would be done, I would move on to the rocks on the bottom, and I got up to here last time. And I just started on this section here, which is the last corner, and there's a little bit of a narrow corridor there. But when that's all said and done, this boat is real world scale, and I'll be able to shoot any scene in here, and rig any camera, do any animations, and all of the textures come with it, which is really cool. So this is like, although this is tedious to do, for an environment with this level of detail and this level of customization, the fact that this is plug and play, it's pretty extraordinary what you can get out of Unreal Marketplace. Some of them are really high quality stuff that are ready, production ready assets, like this one, for instance, and you just have to take the time to scale it up, and it might take a few days to do it. For this type of project, I needed these Navy boats here, like this. Here's one right here. So this is a US Navy boat, and it's at scale, and I needed this to dwarf in comparison to the rest of the cave. So to invest my time in it, it was absolutely worth it for 2 or 3 days, because once the rest of these rocks are in and I have the water in and I do the lighting and the post-production, post-processing work, then I'll be able to do some shots, animate the cameras, animate the boats, and I'm ready to go. And although that's still a very basic level, there's no water simulations, it still works for what it is. So if you like this video and you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button or like this video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.